Welcome. I am John Henson, and this is the TarHeel247 basketball podcast, a UNC basketball podcast. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to TarHeel247's YouTube channel. And without further ado, I want to introduce and welcome, I call him Raymond Felton. It sounds weird me saying that, but let me welcome him on. And before we get to the Tar Heel days, what are you up to these days, man? How are things going?
Oh man, I ain't doing too much, family. Just out here, just training some kids and coaching a little bit. That's really it, man. Just trying to enjoy a little bit of downtime with the kids and try to be there as much as I can as a father. Because when we playing, it's kind of hard to be there and
Right.
play that role. So I've been trying to enjoy that as much as I can.
For sure. I got a almost 3-year-old, so I'm on the same page as you, man. Just spending as much time as possible. So I know how
Yeah.
that goes. So kind of let's start from the beginning. For those that don't
hmm
know, kind of where are you
hmm
originally from, and where do you hail from?
I'm originally from South Carolina, Latta, South Carolina, a little small town. Um, Born and raised there. Never really moved. Never really left the Carolinas until after my fifth season. In the NBA. I was in Carolina for 3 years. Left there. Got drafted to Charlotte. I was in Charlotte for 5, and then that's when I left and went to New York. So, um, just country boy, man. Just a kid
Yeah.
who just a country boy, man, kid who got it out the mud, and then have a lot of opportunities where I came from. I just took advantage of the moment, took advantage of playing AAU basketball and traveling and, try to make a name for myself.
Yeah, man. I South Carolina got the Hoopers down there, man. Low key though. People don't know that. People don't know
Right.
that.
They don't, man. You got guys now. It's good to see, guys like John Morant,
Mhm.
Zion, but I can go back as far as Ray Allen, Kevin Garnett from South Carolina,
Right.
um, Jermaine O'Neal. It's a lot of dudes I'm probably missing. I mean, Chris Middleton from South Carolina.
That's my
You know,
guy. I've been down. I've been down there. I've been down there to his spread, man. He's
yeah,
doing his
you know
thing
what
in
I'm saying?
Charleston, man.
Lamar
uh,
Sessions, like I can name some names, man. You know what I'm saying? So South Carolina definitely got some hoopers.
so at what age kind of did you pick up a basketball and who you credit with kind of teaching you the game and just putting you on that path?
Oh, really, my father, man. My daddy was a guy who played ball. They consider my daddy the MJ of the area. My daddy can light it up. He was a guy that I had to follow some big footsteps in my area. So he kind of put the ball in my hand, at an early age. But according to him, he was like I loved it from day one. So he
Mhm.
put me in rec ball at like 4 years old. So I've been playing basketball since I was 4, bro.
Yeah, I think I was like 5. All I can remember is I used to steal the ball all the time from everyone, and I was just kind of a little more advanced than everybody. So I'm sure you know how it is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Uh, so kind of let's start getting to the Carolina. How did they first express interest in you, as a player?
Man, I was out in California, man. A lot of people probably don't even remember this tournament. It was Pump and Run out
Yep.
in California. And Matt Doherty was there, man. I think he was there to see Jackie, actually. I think he was there to see Jackie Manuel. And he said he just kept seeing me do some things on the other court. He just kept seeing me, kept watching me. He said so before he knew it, he don't turn his chair around to watch my game and keep an eye on me. And honestly, man, like from that point on, he kind of just like, man, I want you to be my point guard at Carolina. And I'm like, what? Are you serious? For a Carolina kid, Carolina is like the top of the food chain for everybody, for anybody. I think that is just everywhere in the world. Honestly, Carolina is one of those programs where everybody in the country wants to go to and wants to be a part of. So, when I got that opportunity and I got that call from him, it was just like I felt like I could play against anybody. It just gave me the utmost confidence and made me work even harder to make sure that I did solidify that scholarship and just, I think everything just went up from that point for me, man. At that point, I wasn't even ranked in the country at all.
Mhm.
And before I left out of high school, I was considered the number one point guard
Yep.
and won the Naismith National Player of the Year. So, McDonald's All American, all those things that I was able to achieve, I think that just kind of gave me that confidence that I needed just to know that I can play against anybody in the world.
Yeah, and the two cats you're behind, Amari and Carmelo, like that's a tough. When I looked at it, I said, "Dang!" But it makes sense. And as I get into it, I'm gonna tell you how I felt when I came to campus and saw you playing. We'll get into more of that. So, it was a no brainer just off the rip. You were like, "Look, Carolina's my school," or the other schools involved in your recruiting.
Well, it was. I was being highly recruited from everybody, to be honest with you. But I mean, I really wasn't considering nobody else. Honestly, the only team that I really even thought of was South Carolina because I was from there and they was trying to get me heavy to stay in the state. And Kentucky because I love Tubby. Tubby Smith was actually the head coach there, and I loved him as a head coach. But once I got that offer from Carolina, it was over with for anybody. I wasn't even thinking about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I was like a Texas kid. I wanted to go to Texas, but when I went to campus and I hung with the guys and you saw that environment, man, it was easy. I actually had to I told my pops like I want to go. He like, whoa, just calm down. Let's let him marinate a little bit. So so that's how did you go on? You went on an official visit. How'd that go? Like who was there? Kind of who took you out? What was that like?
Jawad, man. Jawad was the
Okay.
guy who took me out, took me around, you know what I'm saying? Like just, showed me a good time, showed me the campus. And that was on my official visit. My unofficial, I went to a lot of, went to a few football games. I went to a couple games. But actually when I came on my visit, I mean, I had already told him I was coming. But once I took my visit, man, and I took my visit around the same time they did the pet rally, the Carolina, the little pet rally joint they always do. I can't think of the name of it right now. It's so long for me. But that night was just special, man. They would chant my name and I don't know, bro. It was like, man, I can't go nowhere else. It won't even feel right. I gotta come here. This is special. Seeing all this blue, seeing the history, saying like I said, Jawad just showed me so much love and such a good time. And I was just like, man, it's done. Like, I'm coming. Period.
For sure. And Big May and Rashad, also two top 10 guys in that class. So, in my class, we kind of discussed a little bit, me and Dex and the twins. We like, what were we doing? Did you guys discuss like, hey, we're gonna come to Carolina and turn this thing up, or it was all kind of singular decisions?
I didn't know them, bro. That's what's crazy.
Really?
I was in
It was an old day. It was an
Adidas
old
guy.
day.
Yeah, I was an Adidas guy, and they was Nike. So I never even played against Sean or Rashad through AAU. That's what's crazy. I've never played against neither one of them through AAU. I've heard about them, of course. You know what I'm saying? So when I committed, and then I think Sean might have been next, or Rashad might have been next. One of the two. Then it just started. It was just like a domino effect. Like it was just like everybody just started coming. They started coming. So I was like, man, shoot, let's do it. So once I saw them at the McDonald's game, it was just like love, man. It was like, man, let's go there. Let's try to change this program back around, change it back to where it needs to be and where it's supposed to be. So, that was something that we definitely discussed when we was at the McDonald's game together.
Y'all definitely changed the program. And so that's actually leading to my next kind of question with that McDonald's game. Melo, Amari, JJ, to name a few. Did playing well in that game? I know for me, it was a confidence boost. Did that help you confident? Like, look, man, like I'm one of them guys.
Yeah, I didn't. And, I was a scorer. So, I averaged like 33 a game coming out of high school. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't really score like that in the McDonald's game. I was more a facilitator. I was just doing a lot of passing. So I really, honestly, I took that game, and my daddy wasn't too happy about it because he wanted me to go out there and score. I really was trying to basically play the way I knew I was going to have to play when I got to Carolina because I'm on a team with a bunch of McDonald's All-Americans. Jawad was already there. You had Jackie and Melvin that was there the year before as well. That was good players. Then you had me, Sean, and Rashad coming in as McDonald's All-American. Then you had David Noel, Byron Sanders, Damian Grant. Like, so we had some guys coming in, so I knew I wasn't going to be able to go out there and just score and shoot the ball like I wanted to. So I really was trying to really get locked into that role of being a point guard and playing with a lot of, high-level elite players. So I kind of took that McDonald game as like one of those things because I knew that's what the scouts at the next level was really looking for and what they wanted. So, it was just a transition for me, but, it worked out for me.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I watched the last 5 minutes of the championship game. I just wanted to watch it, just kind of see what you was on, you know what I mean, last night, and I mean, you was being a point guard. You was getting to the big May. You were trying to feed the big fella. they was kind of shut it down, and you were playing from there. I saw a coach call B1 hold, the cross screen, come big man come across. Like, so it was kind of surreal watching that. We're gonna get into that later. So in the Carolina summer of 2002, how walking into that gym. So I tell people this: when I walked into that gym, it was like you, Big May, Jawad, Shaman was playing, a bunch of guys like T Hands, like Wayne. So entering that, who was in the gym with you? Who was in that gym when you walked in day one? Like, okay, I'm here now and playing pickup and getting it in with you guys.
You know what's crazy, bro? Like, and I tell people all the time, I got lucky because I was able to play against Vince Carter,
Yeah.
Jerry Stackhouse, Rasheed Wallace, Brandon Hayward, Shaman Williams. Like, these dudes were still coming back, like, and hooping. You know, Big Moscow from overseas, he was
Yeah.
still, Maz was a player. He just knew the game. You know, you had dudes like Lavelle Moulton that was coming over from Central, like dudes who was playing overseas, dudes who was in the NBA. Like, the runs was crazy. It was sometimes, bro, we couldn't even get on the court. And I tell people all the time, that was humbling. Like, you know, I was like, dang, like I can't even play. Like, they telling us to go to another court, go play by yourself. You can't play over here, young fella. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just like you had to earn your stripes. And I think that's what made us who we are, bro. That's what made us tough. That's what made us prepared for all the things that we went through and to able to get to the ultimate goal and win a championship, because those guys like that came back and they beat us up. They whooped on us. And honestly, that summer after my sophomore year going into my junior year, bro, we actually started winning some games against them. So I felt like we was ready, bro. I feel like we had the team to actually win the championship because we were starting to win games against pros. So
Yeah. I had Harrison on, so I don't know if you were there that day when Marvin picked him up full court all day, and I was Harrison's roommate, and you know he had to he was reconsidering some things. Like, hold on, like, am I? And that's how it was. Like, my story is when I got in, I had to guard Big May. I couldn't do nothing with him. I couldn't do nothing with him. I was sitting back, couldn't guard him. I was hoping they just didn't pass him the ball, and that made me better as a player. And I'm gonna tell you something from my perspective. I've never even told you this. When I came in the gym and you was the best player on the court, couldn't guard you, couldn't do nothing with you, especially my sophomore year. You was torching Kendall, but that made Kendall so much better.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It changed, like it made him so much better. So, you know, that those stories are just wild to me.
Me and
For
Theo be
people
talking
listening, like,
about it all the time, bro. Me and Theo
yeah.
be talking about it all the time. Like, that's what's missing. And honestly, you know what I'm saying? Like I wish I was still able to play because that's what's missing now. Like,
Yeah,
I feel like
yeah.
these young guys need guys like us to come back and, you know, beat them up and really show them how to play and show them that if you able to play against pros, it gives you the utmost confidence to go out there and play against college guys. I mean, if you feel like you can play against some NBA pros or overseas guys, just pros, period, if you can hold your own or if you can go out there and compete, man, listen, it gives you just confidence out the roof when you go into the season. And honestly, that's what it did for me. And it's good to hear that it did that for you guys as well by us coming back. You know what I'm saying? Because I was just the type of guy, man, that the old guys came back for us. So I wanted to do that for you all too. I wanted to come back and hoop and work out, you know what I'm saying, and be around and just be able to keep this program rolling, man. So I hope we can get back to that at some point.
Yeah, I'm kind of done. I'm 34, but I'm done, Ray. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Well, I'm 41. You know I'm done.
Yeah, I'm done. So, I'm just thinking like those games, those days, you know, and especially the year. So we went to the NIT my freshman year, and I remember y'all, boy, y'all came back in the summer, boy. I was like, man, y'all was not playing. Y'all was cursing us out, you know. But we won the ACC next year, so
there you go.
I appreciate that for sure.
Nah, for sure.
So, year one, Coach Doherty, freshman year, kind of walk us through that year, and Coach Doherty. Obviously, then we'll get to your next couple of years as well.
Well, you know that year was it was an experience. It was a learning experience for us. We started off hot. We started off good. You know, we went down to New York in the preseason NIT, and we won that. We beat Stanford first game, and then we beat Kansas. You know, which was coached by Coach Roy Williams at the time. They had a big time team because, you know, they made it all the way to the championship that year. You know what I'm saying? So they had a good team with Kirk Heinrich, Aaron Miles, and Nick Collison. Those guys was good. Wayne Simeon. They had a squad. I think Keith Langford was on that team that year as well. So them boys was loaded, man. But we went down there and we beat them. We upset them, and Sean broke his foot, man. Sean, not that game, but he broke his foot. After that, a few games later on into the season after that. And it kind of just that hurt us. We was missing our big fella down in the middle. So we ended up, making the NIT that year and losing in the Final Four the NIT to Georgetown. They had Big Sweeney, that year.
Big Sweeney.
Big Sweeney was sweet. We couldn't do nothing with big fella. But yeah, man, that year was just a learning experience. It was, it was a rough year. It was a lot of drama, that going on that year with that situation, with Coach Doherty. I never had a problem with Coach Doherty. I still don't to this day. He's still a good friend of mine. And I always tell him, and I didn't, it was a whole process, when he was getting fired and all of that. I didn't want nothing to do with it. I had nothing to do with it. And he made my dream come true. So even to this day, I love him to death. I got nothing but love and respect for him because he the guy who got me to Carolina. He the guy that, made my dream come true as a college basketball player. So I got nothing but love for that man, but then, sometimes, the coach who gets you there ain't the coach who take you through, through that finish line. And he just wasn't meant for him to take us through that finish line. It was meant for Coach Williams to come back and, we had our bumps and bruises. We had our battles. I asked Coach Williams to trust me as a point guard, give me the team. And he told me what he needed from me. And I took that whole summer, bro, and I worked on it. I took that whole summer and trained with Shaman and guarded Shaman that whole summer. Wouldn't let nobody else guard him. Even if he was cooking me, I didn't care. I'm guarding. Ain't nobody else guarding him. So I just took it personal, what Coach needed from me. And I just asked one thing from him. I said, give me the team. Give me the keys to the car. Let me run this team. And I promise you, I won't disappoint you. And shoot, I mean, the rest is history, bro. We went on to win the championship. So.
Yeah. And it's funny because you guys had 16 losses. We beat y'all. We had 17. So you're welcome. Y'all off the books on that one. You know what I'm saying? So my team, we went to NIT, we lost in the finals. So, all right, transitioning over to Coach Williams. Man, what were some of the differences? Like first day practice, like what happened? Like, because, we both know how Coach is. Like he came in like a bull with his horns out, right? Like this is going to be different. So
yeah,
give me a look into the first week of practice as a new coach trying to win a. You guys had the most talented team probably in the country. So what was that like?
It was tough, man. He was very demanding early on. He was really dared to change things around, and I understood it. I didn't take it personal. You know what I'm saying? It was some guys that couldn't really take it. I ain't gonna speak on that. Some guys that he really bumped heads with a lot, that he really got into it with. I took it with he's just trying to make us better. He's just trying to change things. That's been going on for the last 2 years. Because, the year before I came in, that was the worst season ever in Carolina history. That's when they was 8-20. So, that was Jawad in them freshman year. So, you come in the next year, we only make the NIT. That's 2 back-to-back years where that's not Carolina's standards. You know what I'm saying? So he come in as the coach, being a guy that's a Carolina guy. He's a Carolina alum. He's a guy that was there that coached up under Coach Dean Smith. So, it was a lot of pressure on him as well. And he's a guy that's never got over that hump of winning the championship. He's gotten there several times. He's gotten to the Final Four, but he could never get it done. So, it was a lot of pressure on him too. So, I understood that. And, I think that's why me and him got along so well. That's why me and him still real close to this day, is that I understood the assignment, bro. And I think that's the biggest thing that goes on now. If you can understand the assignment, you can get past the yelling and the cussing and the screaming. If you understand the assignment or what is the ultimate goal, what we all here for, I think that's the biggest lesson that I can give to these young guys is don't listen to the words, man. Don't listen to the delivery. Just listen to the ultimate goal, the excitement. Just listen to that. Don't listen to the cussing because you're going to get cussed out. I don't care what coach you go to in the country. You're going to get screamed on. You're going to get cussed out. So, but it is what it is. But it was beautiful, man. I can't complain. Coach Williams came in and he changed things around and, we was able to do something special.
Yeah, me and Coach are kind of close too, because it's funny. Like, I think that's the perfect way to describe why, me and him start a relationship. And when I see him all the time, he's like, call me, you want to come golf? Because I understood the assignment. That's exactly, like I was defensive guy, third guy. I almost had to sacrifice myself for winning. And I saw how much he appreciates, to this day, how much he appreciates that. So I definitely get that. So practice. Was there a moment in time, a game, where you like, hold on, like we might be on to something, like we might can do this thing?
Just the run we made our junior year, bro. We only lost 4 games that year.
Yeah,
we lost about 4 games that year, bro. We was just on fire. We were just going through everybody. We was just dominating. I just thought, like I said, like even that summer going into that junior year, I feel like we had the team that could beat anybody, that could compete with anybody. But I'm just give you an example. One of the craziest practices, one of the things that really just made us really hit another switch, and was right on time. We lost to Georgia Tech in NC in the ACC tournament. Mm-hmm. We lost to them the second game of the tournament because we almost lost to Clemson. And coach told us if we lose, we're gonna bust back because we was in DC. We're gonna bust back from DC and we're gonna practice as soon as we get off the bus. So we weren't going to take a plane back. We was going to take the bus back. And we was going to go practice as soon as we got off the bus. So, man, I went crazy that game. I think I ended up with like 29. I just went crazy. Like, we are not losing this game. Like, forget that. Next game, we ended up losing a tough one to Georgia Tech, they had a stacked team. Jared Jack, Will Bynum. Them dudes was loaded, man. They had a squad. But we come into practice, bro. We come into practice. Coach Williams took all the rims off. Mm-hmm. We had no rims on the baskets, no rims. Like there was no shooting. It was defense for a whole week. Like we had to really lock into defense all week. Just drills, defense, staying in front of a guy, rotations. Like everything was just nothing without taking a shot. And I think that just put us to another mindset, bro. It just gave us another element of mental to just really lock in, focus on what we needed to do defensively because we knew we could score with anybody in the country. But we just knew that if we took care of our job defensively the way we knew we could, we had a chance to do something special. And, bro, that took us to another level, man. That was one of the practices that I talk about all the time when that man took all the rims off the goal, bro. That was crazy. That was crazy to see. I've never seen that done before in my whole career. Never seen it.
We had a brim off practice. We lost to Florida State by 30 on like a noon primetime game. And look, we got off the plane. He like, y'all boys go ahead, get your stuff on. Like we practiced. Ooh. After that, they can't do it now. They can't do, now in social media, But he was like, y'all boys, look, it's only about 5:30. Y'all come on. And the rims was off. And we had like a whole practice with no rims. So we didn't do it for a week, but that was a strategy that it shook us. It shook us, man. So so boom, let's fast forward, right? You guys get, best team in the country throughout the year. You guys get to the championship game. I'm watching, right? Luther Head hits the 3 to tie it, 70-70, 2 minutes left. What was that message in the huddle like? What was that moment? How intense was that?
Hey, we in a dogfight.
Yeah.
We're in the dogfight. Who wants it more is going to be the person who wins the game. And I was just a type of guy, bro. I love those moments. Even if I wasn't a guy that scored a lot of points within the game, I'm the one who just didn't care about taking that big shot. I didn't care. So, I come down, D Brown is guarding me. I can't remember who came to set the pick, but I think D Will was trying to switch off on me, and I didn't care. I just went off that pick, and I just shot it.
There was 3 dudes around you. I remember there was 3 cats around you.
Cashed it. Yeah, I didn't care. I shot it right in their face. I just love those moments. I love, taking those big shots in those moments, man. I didn't care. You know what I'm saying? So, it was just so real, man, just to be in that moment, to be in that whole Final Four experience. and just beat a team that, everybody felt like was going to win. Everybody had Illinois beating us. And I wasn't having it. I wasn't trying to have it at all, bro. Like we was locked in, man. That's why we so close to this day, man. I love my brothers, man. I love those guys. The things we went through, there's just the fight, just the hard work that everybody just don't even understand what it takes. People don't understand the 33s. People don't understand the Carolina Mile. People don't understand the 12-minute run. They don't understand all that grind. That it hurts. But it feels so good when you achieve it and when you accomplish it and when you get done with it. Like, it's like a milestone for you, man. And I wish I can go back, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. I miss them days, bro.
Yeah, I mean, you guys kind of started that trend. I mean, like when I pulled up to the gym, like it was like the 2005 team was around, and for me as a kid coming in, like it was just so surreal. You know what I mean? Just seeing you guys play. So kind of moving on. By the way, Bob Cousy Award winner. Hey, you won everything that year, any championship, man. So it was a legend. Rafters, all that.
Yep.
So do you still kind of keep up with the program? It's so hard these days because now they got 10 different guys. So it's a whole different ball game. I say on paper we look good. I'm gonna be honest. I know it's a Tar Heel podcast, but on paper we look good. Do you have any thoughts kind of? Well, let's start with how Hubert's doing and then, the team and what do you think of the expectations this year?
Well, the expectations is to win. That's every year, getting to make the tournament, and make a strong push.
Yep.
That's the goal every year for Carolina basketball. I think Hubert's doing an amazing job. I think he gets a lot of shit up on his name, but that comes with being a Carolina coach, Look at Belichick last night, it's standards, but hey, things happen. When people come and play Carolina, you're going to get everybody best game.
Yep.
You got to understand that, and that's tough. When you get somebody's best every night, so that means you have no room for error. And let's be honest, we're not perfect. We have games where we just don't play that well, bro. We're going to get beat. You're going to get blown out. It happens. You know what I'm saying? So I think that, these guys this year, I went back to the camp this year because my son, was a part of the Carolina camp this year. So I went and I talked to Seth for a long time. I said, bro, do me a favor. I said, this is all I ask from you. I said, I watched y'all practice last year. I watched y'all play last year a lot. And I said, let's get back to like making people uncomfortable in our building. Like, let's pick up full court. Like, even if we ain't stealing the ball, let's pick up full court. Let's put pressure on somebody. Let's stop letting people come into Carolina and be so comfortable bringing the ball up the court, be so comfortable running their offense. Regardless of what you do in defensively in the half court, full court, let's put some pressure on that ball. Like, that point guard shouldn't be comfortable. Whoever bringing that ball up shouldn't be comfortable. I said, let's get back to that, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you one of the guys. I said, I'm coming to you because one, you the senior, you the leader, and then two, you one of the guys who can do it. You one of the guys who lock up and play defense. I said, so let's get back to that this year. I said, set that standard first day of practice. I said, set that standard. And I just feel like, and then just me looking, I think that's all we really need. Because I feel like we got the firepower. Just looking at the roster, we got some guys. We got some guys. But I think defensively, if we lock into that, I think they're gonna have a good year, bro. I think they're gonna have a really good year.
Yeah, I always talk with my teammates, and I'm sure you can relate. When we used to walk there, especially when we were in my junior year, we were number one in the country. You could smell the fear, right? When they walk into you could see it on their face. And what we used to do is like, look, let's not even let them think. That's literally what we say. Like, we older now, we used to be like, look, let's get these boys out of here by 2:30. Let's take a nap. We hit the streets by 6. Like, that's how it used to really be, it was a mindset, so hopefully they can get back to that. That's a great message, mentality that, we had. So that's from y'all though, starting with y'all, just how y'all used to play. And people were scared to come into Dean Dome. I don't know if it's like that anymore.
That's the point I'm trying to make. Let's make people uncomfortable again. And he was like, he took it. He was like, yeah, you're right. And he loves to play defense. And that's what I told him. I said, I love to see you, play defense. I said, because you're one of the guys that I be looking at that plays it hard, plays it the right way,
Mm-hmm.
denying passes, getting up into people. I say people got to be uncomfortable, bro. If you let people, they already hyped up to play in this ding dong.
Right.
It's already what it is. They hyped up to
Mm-hmm.
be in here. So now if you sitting there and letting them be comfortable, I say you're gonna have a long night. So
Long night.
you know what I'm saying? So you're
Yeah.
gonna have a long night, man. You got people coming in making 8 threes, and man, that shit was unheard of. There wasn't nobody
Yeah.
coming at Jackie. Jackie won't let nobody make no 8 threes. And I
Yeah.
wasn't letting the point guard be comfortable. He was gonna get pressured the whole game. And then Jackie, if you had somebody that was shooting, man, Jackie running off them screens, Jackie is in you. So we was making people uncomfortable, bro. We weren't going for it. So I think, like I said, we get back to that, we gonna be fine. We gonna be fine.
I mean, down the stretch to finish the championship game when I watched last night, it was Dino and Jackie on
Yeah,
defense.
exactly.
Those who finished, those are the two guys that finished the game. So
Yeah.
that's something to really think about. Kind of moving forward, what was kind of the coolest experience you had before I let you out here in your life because of basketball? Like, name something or something you did.
Bro, just getting drafted, bro. Like
Yeah,
just that whole process, saying going to New York, going in that room. It's just sitting there and just waiting for your name to be called, bro. That was just something that I never thought it would ever happen to me. Growing up where I'm from, small town in South Carolina, bro, just never thought I would be in those moments. It was a gold, it was a
mhm,
dream,
mhm.
and just to see it come true, just to be able to change the lives of my parents and my family, bro, it was just so real, bro. It's amazing. That was the one moment
Yeah,
of my basketball career. I could take anything else individually that I've achieved is great, is amazing. But to walk across that stage, man, and change your life
yeah,
doing something that you love to do is probably the biggest accomplishment ever. Biggest one ever.
yeah. I could say like for me, man, just now that I'm older and I'm done playing. People always ask, like, yo, like, how, what? I'm like, look, this started so long ago. I didn't even know what I was doing. I knew I had a goal in mind, right? But like, looking in hindsight, I wish I could tell kids, like, look, man, sacrifice early, work hard, man, play together, play with your, and your dreams can come true. Like, shoot, nowadays, shoot, you get drafted in the first 15 picks. You got back in the day, it wasn't like that. You had to get you a second deal. Now you
Oh yeah, it was
top
the
20 picks,
salary
you
was
get two
capped.
mil. So,
Yeah, the salary was
so
capped. Shoot, if
yeah,
I got drafted the fifth pick in the draft, man, I would have probably been making. I would have probably signed a $50 million deal
yes.
off gate. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
things are just totally different now, man.
Yeah.
Even with the guys getting paid in college,
Hmm.
I said, shoot, I'd probably been getting about 2 mil in college.
That's a number one. It's crazy I asked because I was the number one power forward in my class. The going rate for the number one position is 2 mil.
That's
That's
what
what
I'm
I'm hearing.
saying.
That's
That's
what
what
I'm
I'm
hearing. So
saying.
you stayed for three. I stayed for three. I'm just saying. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So
so like things are different, and I'm like,
yeah,
listen, I'm happy for them. Like,
for
I'm
sure.
glad they finally paying these athletes, and getting what they deserve. But the part I don't like is this transfer portal. I
Yeah.
don't like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like you should be able to just keep bouncing around and doing all of that. Like, if you bounce around, you got to sit out of here. So and I think it makes it hard for coaches because it's hard for you to coach and demand things and you know be hard on these kids the way you're supposed to because they can just be like, all right, bet I'm gone.
Yeah.
Take your money that you already gave them, and then they go on and get in the transfer portal, and then they're gonna play the next year. I think that's the one thing they need to change because that'll stop a lot of that. Kids just leaving out the blue and going to 4 different schools in 4 different years.
And even furthermore, like, even my relationship with you, in my relationship with other former players at the school, I was in a couple of my teammates' weddings. Like I talk to Z every
For
week.
real.
Like them boys are my family, they're my brothers. And
Mhm.
that was probably the biggest thing I took away from college. Obviously, I got drafted and I played, but like those relationships I built, even people that didn't play basketball. I'm cool with cats and lawyers and have these connections. And so I hate that part of the game where these kids are leaving because I think more so than anything, I was so close with my teammates and the former guys, because we was around each other for 3-4 years, like summer every day, bumping heads, getting held accountable. So I hate that part is gone from the game, man.
Yeah.
So
because basketball, because at some point basketball is going to stop. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? So those relationships you build, those go longer than your career. I promise you, goes way longer than your career.
So last question.
Mhm.
I'm gonna ask everybody this from this point forward. What is one question about your career you always wished you were asked?
One question about my career.
Yeah, like one question you always the media never asked you. What's the question? You got anything for me?
Nah, man, because I feel like they've asked me almost everything. With the media, boy, they dig into your whole entire life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Your negative side, your positive side, and all of that. But I think the one thing, man, that I've never had an opportunity to really express is how tough it is to make it, even from a small town where you come from, where I came from, how hard it is to make it to where I came from, and then how hard it is to make it, through college to the NBA, and then play 14 years.
Yep.
Like, people don't understand, like, the sacrifice it takes. You have to sacrifice being away from your family. You have to sacrifice time with your kids. You have to sacrifice things that probably mean more to you than playing basketball, but you're doing it for your kids' future. You're doing it for your future. You're doing it, I did it because I love the game. You know what I'm saying? So, a lot of people don't ask, like, you know, what's the biggest thing that you sacrificed?
Yeah.
And I honestly have to say, just, family, bro. I had to sacrifice that time with family. I had to sacrifice missing, sometimes family cookouts, missing family dinners, missing family gatherings, missing funerals, like, so many things that I missed throughout my career, all because of basketball, bro. Missing, my first child, missing his first day of school,
Mhm.
Saying, like,
Yeah, for sure.
just things that, I'm able to do now with my youngest, because I was there from day one. You know what I'm saying? Like, things that I didn't get with my daughter, or things I didn't get with my first son. Like, just it's tough. It's a lot of things that I miss, but it's that sacrifice. And I think that's probably the biggest question that the media never asks athletes is, what does that feel like?
Yeah.
And it's tough, bro. Especially when you retire and you sit back and you witness it. I was blessed to even witness it once I retired. I had another son once I retired.
Mhm.
So it was, a blessing to go through those moments and see those milestones as he continues to grow now. It's crazy, bro. Like, I missed a lot. I did. I really
Yeah.
missed a lot. But hey, we good now. We in a good situation. We in a good place. And those are the sacrifices I had to make as a man, to make sure that, we are able to do the things and be where we at now.
Yeah. I always say, like, it was with the Luca trade. Oh, Luca, I said, listen, no amount of money, no amount of money. I don't care if you're getting 100 million a year. Nobody want to pack up their house. Nobody want to move.
Man.
Nobody wants to miss their kids' first day. No, like, I don't care how much. There is no amount of money. So I don't think people realize that. Like, when they say, "Oh, he gonna be straight," like, nah, this house and these cars. I didn't get to see my son score his first goal. Like that is something that I don't think the media realizes. So that's a great point. Great finisher by my guy Ray Felt, legend. Someone I always looked up to, like when I came to campus.
I appreciate that, bro.
So I appreciate you coming on.
Anytime.
It's surreal talking to you on this platform,
Yep.
because I never got a chance to kind of give you your flowers, man. You was a guy I watched from afar when I was at Carolina. You was a guy that I admired, and how you came in and performed every day and try to kick our ass, like that type of stuff. That put that in us and put it in me. So I appreciate you, and thank you for coming on.
Oh, man, anytime, bro. All love, man. Carolina's guys, we stick together.
Yes,
We
sir.
brothers for life. Even though we never played with each other, was on campus together, but we still got a bond. So
Sure.
I'm always here for you.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Always,
And,
bro.
and thanks to everyone for watching. Thanks for watching on YouTube and listening on wherever you get your podcast. Be sure to check out TarHeel247.com for the latest wall-to-wall coverage of Carolina athletics. See you next week.